In this video, I'm going to show you how I use the Lensbaby Omni to achieve beautiful, creative in-camera effects for my fashion portraits. I'm Lindsay Adler, and I'm a portrait and fashion photographer. Now, for as long as I can remember, I've been putting things in front of my camera for creative effects. Everything from chandelier crystals to prisms to ornaments, anything that would give me an unusual pattern or a lens flare. And so I was very excited when I saw that Lensbaby came out with this new tool. It's called the Omni. And I want to show you what it looks like and then show you some of the results. The tool screws in like a filter. It's actually a ring that fits on the front of the camera, and then it holds a variety of creative filters, and there's several of them that come in this kit, and you can buy many different ones. Some of them are plastic that give you a rainbow effect. Some of them are crystals. Some of them are something called stretch glass, which is actually what you see here. And what this particular tool does is it makes it look like the edge of the frame is almost pulled. It's stretched, hence stretch glass. And I love the streaks that it gives me. Now, forever, as I've been holding these things in front of my camera, it was always hard because it's hard to compose, zoom, focus, and then hold something in front of the camera, and basically impossible to hold multiple things. So what I really like is that Lensbaby came up with a solution that's going to give me a little bit more freedom. Plus, the way they're attached on magnets, so I can move them around and get a perfect configuration based on my composition. So let's go back and take a look at the final shot so you can see what the stretch glass is doing. You can see that it actually pulls on the edge of the frame. It streaks. It looks like movement. It looks surreal and dreamlike, and I love the result. This shoot was actually my first experimentation with the Omni. I had never tried it before, and so I was putting all the different tools in front of my camera. And one of the reasons I selected the lighting I did in the end is if you look at the stretch glass, it actually will pull or look like it stretches the color across the frame. So let me take you behind the scenes to show you my lighting. In this image, I used 3 different strobes, 2 of them with gels. And so my first strobe, my main light, is a large umbrella with diffusion, giving me a nice soft light source across my subject. And with that metallic outfit, it also gives me lots of nice highlights. But because of the stretch glass, and I know how it pulls colors and the image in different directions, I wanted to have color. So the additional 2 strobes I added both have gels. First, to the right of the frame, I used a small umbrella with a magenta gel. And so on the right-hand side of the frame, you see that magenta color picking up. You'll also see it in her outfit because it does have that metallic texture. And then on the opposite side of the frame, I added a bare bulb with a teal gel. Again, not only will you see it in her outfit, but you'll also see it pulled by the stretch glass. Now for this shot, I used a Canon 5D Mark IV and a 24 to 105 millimeter lens. And the reason that I select that lens is because it gives me flexibility. Now how it works is the Omni screws in like a filter, and I wanted to be able to get close shots, and I wanted to be able to get wider shots without having to constantly take the filter off and move it to another lens. So that's why I chose a 24 to 105, because it gives me that flexibility to get closer and wider shots. So I actually want to show you some of the other results and some of the other crops. So this one we're going to break down in a second. So that's kind of my mid-length shot, but I also had nice tight shots and then a little bit wider. So I want to show you what was achieved in camera. So here is my raw, and you'll see what the stretch glass does to the image. This is without any post-processing. This is without any Photoshop. Now looking at this picture is far warmer than I wanted for my results. The skin tone is a little bit too orange yellow. And so what I did is in Capture One, you could also do this in Lightroom, is I cooled down the white balance. I popped the highlights, popped the clarity, and desaturated the image a bit. And this is what it looked like. So I was able to get something that has a little bit of separation from reality. The colors are saturated, the image looks cool, it's got a lot of texture and shine to it. Now looking at this, there's a couple things that I would want to change. First of all, I would want to retouch her skin so it's nice and smooth and metallic, almost like her outfit. I also see that shadow cast by the jacket, and I think that that should have some color in it. Right now it was blocking any of the gels, so I might fill that in or smooth it out so it's a little bit more even. And speaking of smoothing out, I'd also even out the bumps in the edge of the jacket so it just becomes a much more sleek and clean photograph. So this is the raw image. This is with the raw processing, so no Photoshop yet. And then this is what I achieved in Photoshop. You'll notice, see the shadow on the chest becomes blue. It becomes a little bit smoother. The highlights on the face become more even. And then overall, I smooth out the edges of the jacket. You'll also notice they added a little bit more color to the stretch glass, but fundamentally I was kind of pumping up what it was already achieving. The stretch glass is just one of many of the different tools with the Lensbaby Omni. Each one has a different effect, and it depends on the placement and your focal length and the lighting in the scene, and each time it will do something a little bit different. Have you ever experimented with prisms or specifically something like this, stretch glass? If you have, leave a note in the comments. I want to hear about your experiences and if you've discovered anything that you really like that gives you these creative in-camera effects. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like. And of course, if you want to see more photo deconstructions, subscribe here.